Hey, gang, this is Carl White. I'm your co-pilot here for the next, little bit. The pilot in command today is Mr. Kevin Gillespie, one of our partners over here at the Freedom Club. He runs the Leadership Academy, which is primarily branch managers, company owners, high-level mortgage brokers. That pretty much explains it, right? All my
Yeah,
bosses,
regionals,
right?
absolutely.
Regional managers. Yeah. So you were sharing in, by the way, I'm going to do a shameless plug right here at the very beginning. I've been meaning to do this and I forgot. So first of all, thanks so much for all the very kind and great reviews that y'all have given us. And if you leave us a review, just an honest review, we like the 5-star, but just an honest review, whatever it is, that 100% of the people that do that, if you take a picture of it and then email it to us at support@themarketinganimals.com, support@themarketinganimals.com, that we will give you instant access to our newest book, AI and the Loan Officer. So we wrote a book and we put a bunch of resources in there and prompts. If you're not sure what that means,
That's a great
you will
book.
when you finish this book. Yeah, it's a great book. And you can get it by just leaving a review. Again, take a picture of it and email it to us at support@themarketinganimals.com, and we'll send you an instant copy of the book. You can download it like right away, and I think it's like 50 pages, and it's just chock full of really great resources for AI, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But I've been meaning to do that shameless plug there. So there it is. Would be happy to send you the book. It's a great little book. Which, by the way, I recommend once you get the book, read it through before you do anything. So don't like read 5 pages, then do something. Read 5. You need to read it through because there'll be some stuff at the end that you wish you would have known when you started. So that's it. So anyway, so we were in Asheville at our Freedom Club meeting, Kevin, and you did this great presentation on how to get more out of your team. And some people might think, well, wait a minute, I don't have a team. You have a processor, you have an underwriter, like you have people that you deal with. And whether this is somebody that's an assistant or whether it's somebody like your underwriter or your processor, basically anybody that can make your life easier or harder, that's what we're going to be talking about here the next little bit. So, Kevin, first of all, brother, always a pleasure to do anything with you. Great to see you here.
Good to see you, friend, and thanks for all you do for me. And yeah, I think you're hitting it, Carl. We're going to be talking about what we believe is the number one thing team members and people you're recruiting and trying to retain the best people. You know, we all have that percentage of people we need to move up or out, but how do you get more out of your existing team? It's kind of like shaking a Coke bottle and the fizz is out and you get, maybe 25% out of it. Well, your people all have a lot more potential than what we're getting out of them right now, especially because they're working from home or whatever. But we have discovered that we truly believe this is to be the number one thing. Carl, you've heard this, but man, please chime in throughout this because I think you've experienced it and seen it work as well. And that number one thing is praise, recognition, and validation. And surveys show that the lack of it is one of the reasons we lose top talent, right? And
and before you go any further, I want to make sure everybody heard that. So I think a lot of times, Kevin, we think, well, we lose the talent. And you made a great point that if, like, let's say if the people listen to this as a branch manager or a district manager or owner of a company and you're looking to add loan officers in, I would 100% say this applies to that too. That I know I used to think if I just pay them enough money, I'll attract the right people. And if I just pay them enough money, they'll never leave me. And wow, this was a revelation to me when I discovered these things. And so I want to make sure everybody heard what you said. that the number one thing is not likely money. What's the number one thing?
That they want praise, recognition, validation. And how many times have you recruited a branch manager or a loan officer and they say, well, I get no attention, no help. My branch manager's only interested in their production, right? And branch managers thinking, well, we pay them a lot of money. And that's our natural tendency. We have, as leaders at all levels, we have a tendency to think, well, I appreciate our people. We pat them on the back. We pay them plenty. We shower them with compliments. But the reality check is that there's been a few studies done that show that while 80% of leaders think they give enough appreciation left and right, only 20% of our employees actually feel the love, that they really feel it. And 40% of employees say that they would take their production, their focus on their work to a whole new level, a lot more energy into their job if they just received a little more recognition. I mean, it's like rocket fuel.
You know what I think? Man, this is a great lesson. Gosh, do I go this way? This is a great lesson, by the way, not just in your work, but I would say at home with your spouse or your partner or your kids or your nephews or your Kevin, your friends like me and you. We're best of buddies. I'd say this goes in line with our personal life too, in addition to work. That I think the issue that this scratches, something we've talked about before, is that, what was the stat again? I think it was, and heck, I might have got that number from you. It was something like 87% or some high number like that. I don't remember the exact number, of adult men have never heard their father say, "I love you."
Exactly.
And yeah, and I think this desire that people have at work looking for appreciation is perhaps, and this might be going back, years, back to childhood, perhaps, of not feeling appreciated as a kid, and their whole life they're trying to fill that empty hole in their soul, and they're just looking for some appreciation, and not made up. I think it's important to say that, not that because if you make up appreciation, that's manipulation, which is totally uncool. But a real genuine, hey, I think you're awesome. I think you do. Not only do I think you do great work here, I think you're a great person. Is that they're looking for that validation that most people never got, like ever.
And I can tell you that it works. I'm going to give you two personal examples. One is Janice, my wife, heard me sharing this with somebody, right? And the person's understanding, they're getting it, and Janice is over on the side, she's going, kind of like, yeah, Kevin, you should listen to what you're telling people, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the other personal example is, one of the reasons I love hanging around Carl White and all our people in the Freedom Club is you are a great example of that. You are always, in a very positive, super sincere way, making us feel better about ourselves, right? And it's like crack cocaine.
Again, it's a real, but it's a real thing again. So it's not something like if I say, I don't know, dude, you look like you've been pumping iron. Well, actually, you do look like you're in pretty good shape. But I'm just going to use that example, that if I went up to somebody and said, dude, you look like you've been pumping iron, and and they're carrying around an extra 50 pounds and have been, and maybe it's even gotten slightly worse, that's manipulation, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be like what they're really amazing at. And I find, you don't have to look that hard into people to find out what they're amazing at. You just have to have your eyes open and just take off your negative glasses and put on the positive ones. So anyway.
No, absolutely. In fact, so knowing we were going to be doing this and what we shared in Asheville, I looked to see what some of the experts say. And so Mary Kay Cosmetics, she had a saying that praise and recognition were even more potent than sex and money. And you think about all the prizes, right? And things that she did for her sales force. or Napoleon Bonaparte talked about how soldiers would fight tooth and nail for a ribbon or a medal on their chest. Sam Walton said it. I'm reading his. He said, "A few sincere words of praise are like pure gold." And I got two more, which I really love. Oprah Winfrey, right? Oprah's interviewed over 30,000 people, and she said that every one of those people on her show wanted validation. Did I do good? How was I? What? They're looking for that. And I think the best way to think about this, guys, is from the famous author who's no longer with us, Maya Angelou, who said, people will forget what you say, they'll forget what you pay them and what you do, but they'll never, ever forget how you make them feel. And you think about it, it works both ways too. You make somebody feel bad, boy, they'll carry that around with them just as well. But they want that praise and recognition. It gives us dopamine. We're dopamine addicts. Is that making sense?
Oh, dude, it is. It's a jolt to feel good.
Yeah. And so the more we can do that, now money's important, don't get me wrong, right? But a couple of years ago, we couldn't pay people enough, right? We kept raising. Now our margins are a little squeezed. And boy, you want to get a lift, or you want to keep people from taking off from you and being recruited away. I'm telling you, find something somebody's doing right and recognize them for it, because it validates exactly how they're supporting the goals and values of the company. But we don't do enough because we get so busy in our regular day-to-day role. And I've been told that one of the reasons this works is one, as you said, they're still looking for the validation they didn't get as a kid, but also the paycheck is a couple weeks down the road from when the behavior happened. Right. And even though they like getting the paycheck, how many times have you gotten your paycheck and said, "Oh yeah, that's great because of what I did back then"? Yeah, they don't really connect the two. I don't know that I'm saying that well, but I hope that makes sense. Our delayed paycheck.
The reward, the reward of the paycheck comes too far after the good behavior. It'd be like, I don't know, trying to teach a bird how to sing. And when he sings, I wait 2 weeks before I give him the cracker, and it's too far distance apart. Whereas the praise, comes right then. I never thought about that. That's a very great point.
Yeah, and so we want to be liberal like Santa Claus and find different ways to quickly, to easily, to recognize folks. So you and I come up with the list of things, and guys, we'd love to hear from you. What ideas, if you can respond after you listen to this, what you've done for this. But there's all the standards like catch them doing something right, send them an email, right? But give them recognition in front of the peer group. But there's some other the more unique you can make it probably the better. And this doesn't have to cost you a lot of money, right? So
for example, give me some examples.
Okay, so one you're really good at doing, because I sat in on a meeting with our group here, is just kind of monthly and quarterly awards, right? And we, my operation, we give the Gumby Award, and I stole that idea from somebody else. But Gumby's positive and flexible. You buy a little Gumby doll and make a big deal of it, that they get to sit the Gumby on their. It's crazy. John Hinks does, what is it? His Brenda Award.
Yeah, the Brenda Award.
He has the bobblehead that they give away, but they make a big deal of it. People feel good. Or, and this one's really true, is the next project you have. Hey, Carl, you've been doing such a great job. I really think you're ready to move up and do some more. I want to give you a project and put you in charge of it. My brother, who's a big IT guy at a large company up in Michigan, man, he just got a new project. He couldn't be prouder because they're giving that project to him, and he earned it. But I mean, he just was so excited about it. Or recognize them on your social media pages. I'll tell you a couple that I think really make a difference, write their spouse a note and say, hey, we are so grateful to have Carl on the team. He does work so hard. I know we take him away from you and the family a lot, and that's probably hard on you. But man, we recognize that not only is he given a lot, you and the family are as well. And by the way, here's a couple $100 on us to take them out to dinner, right? You do something like that, or buy tickets to a sporting event for their kids. Their kids like baseball or hockey or whatever, and say, hey, why don't you take your kid to a game on us? I think you were the one who told me about this. Can't you, because I've never done this, to be honest, but the celebrity shout outs, you can pay for a couple of bucks and have how does that work?
Yeah, right, it's there? Gosh, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Cameo.com. And you can get like any number of people, like celebrities, to just say, hey, this is Steve Carell over at the from the TV show The Office, and Carl reached out and wanted me to tell you how amazing that you're doing, and he's just an honor to have you as an underwriter at his mortgage company, or looking forward to you as a loan officer coming to work with us, or excellent processor and how he couldn't do it without you. And and it doesn't cost near. I mean, you can get some notable people for literally like $50 to $100 on that Cameo, and that's I've done that a handful of times. I tell you something else is not just sending a note to their spouse, but I tell you one that I like to do every time I have a chance. I like to do this one. Because as a parent, I know it's a big deal for me when somebody does it for me. Is you go up to, like, let's say if I met, which we have that happen at the Freedom Club. Let's say I meet your father, or I meet your son, just say, or your daughter, or one of your daughters. I meet one of your daughters, and while you're standing there, I say, hey, I'm Carl White, and I'm honored to work with your dad. I just want to let you know your dad is a really important person to a lot of people. Now, first of all, you are really important to a lot of people, right? So again, you can't make it up, because then it's sleazy, right? But your dad is a really important part of what we're doing and helping people. And there are thousands, literally, of loan officers who've increased their business and then went on to hire other people to help the economy in their area, all because of your dad and the strategies and the way he helped some of the top leaders in the mortgage industry. And I just thought it's important for you to know how important your father is, because I know to you, he's just your dad, but to us, he's a great, great, great man. And you have that real conversation with somebody's kid, somebody's mother, somebody's dad. You've raised an amazing son. You've raised an amazing daughter. And again, it's got to be real. I got to keep saying that. It's got to be real, but that's really impactful to people. And I remember my grandfather telling me one time that I could row a boat real well. I was rowing a boat out in front of, he had a house in front of a lake in front of his house. And I don't know, probably 6 years old. And he put me in the rowboat, and I'm out there rowing, and he's yelling from the shoreline, boy, that boy can row a boat. Grab my skis, Elizabeth. I'm going to go ski behind that boat. And I found myself as a grown man thinking, man, I'm really good at rowing a boat. And I remembered it was from that one incident when I was 6 years old. So these can be some really powerful moments in people. So, and it's not just about, quote, getting better work from them, even though you will. It's about, scratching that itch that is so necessary to scratch for all of it. Me too, right? Me too, for all of us. So, yeah, I don't mean to take over the conversation, but it just, this is a strong one for me.
It's a big deal. One other I want to mention is handwritten thank you notes, because hardly anybody does them anymore. But they'll have that sitting on their desk for weeks. And but you were so right. And I've watched you do that. You've done it for me. You've told that not long ago to Janice after you and I did a presentation. And these guys, this is it seems simple. And if you want to test this, here's a good way to test. I think I learned this from you, Carl, but you go to a restaurant and get your meal, start working on your meal, and stop the waiter or waitress and say, "Hey, you guys work hard. And I just want to tell you, you are doing an awesome job. I really appreciate you. I believe you get your food faster. I think you'll get a bigger drink or bigger portion. And so you got to watch that. But because those people, man, everybody's pushing them, demanding on them all day long. Nobody ever tells them that. And and you'll see instant results. So that's really about it.
Yeah, this is a big deal. And it's not a hard one to do. And frankly, it's one you can start implementing right away. It won't cost you a dime, and it'll pay off in gold. I'm telling you, it'll pay off in gold. You'll see them walking with a little skip in their step. Frankly, just, letting them. I mean, for me, Kevin, it's all about letting people know how worthy they are. Because I think a lot of people, I think everybody struggles with that at some level. The imposter syndrome, worthiness, like all that. And you scratch this itch, and you've got loyalty, both you to them and them to you. And again, I cannot overemphasize, this is not manipulation, because you're if somebody's not up to snuff, hey, they got to go. But if somebody's doing an amazing job, let them know that they're doing an amazing job. And maybe that processor put your file first, or that underwriter take an extra look at that condition, perhaps. That maybe there is a way to restructuring this deal so it falls into the guidelines. So big deal.
Or they'll treat your clients better, right? The people that are in contact with your clients. This is truly a big deal. You can't, and right now, especially because the market's tough, right? People are working hard and they're getting beat up, and a lot of things we're trying to work through. This can really make a difference, as simple as it sounds.
I had an example just came to my head that I used to. I worked with one particular title company here locally, and man, I sent these guys a lot of business, right? And they were awesome, right? They were amazing, man. They really stepped up their game. They always, everything's done on time. If I had a rush, they'd always move me ahead. Talk to my clients, super nice, just wonderful people. And I'd tell them, I appreciate you so much and thank you so much, and you're just amazing. And they were. And what would happen was when at closing, with the listing agent there, who may or may not know me yet, right? They knew of me because we're working together on this file, but they would always, this title company at the closing would always say very nice things about me and my service to the listing agent. Like, boy, if you're not using this guy, you really ought to start doing it. We work with a lot of loan officers, and every time Carl's at, we do a deal with Carl, we know everything's going to be okay, and we know it's going to close on time. And it was all just, scratching my back to me. Right. So, or reciprocating. Yeah. So it's a big deal. So I don't think we need to go into this more than what we need to, but we cannot overemphasize the importance of this. And this was a great presentation that you made in Asheville, and I appreciate you coming on here and letting us share it to the world. I thought it's too important of a thing. If we can help people with a little extra skip in their step, how dare us keep this from the rest of the world? So good stuff. Anything else, Kevin? Anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, good stuff, brother.
But again, I appreciate you and all you do for the industry and for me and my family, and just love working with you, friend.
Hey, tell me real quick. In the Leadership Academy, you're getting ready to do some deep dives. What's the topic that's on our next deep dive that you're doing with
the next one starts this Friday, and it's a deep dive into the builder business, because we've already done a little bit on it, just kind of whetting people's appetite and giving them some great information. We've had a couple of clients pick up builders that are doing a couple hundred units a month or a year. And, but we're going to really dig in deep, 4 segments, about an hour a week. And then after that, we're going to be doing a 3-year business plan, along with what is disrupting the industry that you need to be thinking about and building into your business plans. So we're going to hit all levels of the plan. So from ops to sales to marketing. So yeah, we've got some good ones coming up.
And on the business, the builder business, that's talking about getting builders to start referring to you as a preferred mortgage
Absolutely.
company without you having to pay them money, right? Just
Exactly.
like organically happening. So you're going to be diving up for 4 weeks. Well, we're going to be going to that. And you were, and I know this is a whole different topic. What was that number that, like, everybody thinks that once somebody's with the builder, once a borrower is with a builder, might as well give that one up because we're not going to win that one. What was that stat that you did that, like, it was, and I don't want to mention any names here, but it was one, like a particular builder that they only captured, like, builders don't capture near as much business as we might would have thought.
We have a tendency, now there's a few that get high capture rates, but we have a tendency as lenders to think they've got that business all sewn up. But we have databases that show, and we'll be in our deep dive going into this, that show you can pick a builder. And I'll give 2 examples. One builder, a local one, did 64 units last year here in my marketplace. And the biggest lender got 7 of the deals. All the rest of them went to other mortgage companies. Another one, which was a national builder, did here in this marketplace 100 and I think it was 42 units. I may be off a couple, but it's something like that. And their mortgage company captured 37 of them. So 10%, call it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Nowhere near
what you think.
Yeah, nowhere near what we think. So
And so
anyway,
we're going to be doing a deep dive in how to do that and how do you talk to the builder, what's the builders, and understanding the builder business and why you got to talk to them a little bit differently and who you approach. So it's a great topic for folks.
okay, great. Hey, if you want to hear about when you're ready to hear about how to ramp your business up, and you're a broker perhaps, or a branch manager, division manager, company owner, that's what the Leadership Academy is comprised of over here at the Mortgage Marketing Animals that Kevin leads up. Go to profitdrivenplan.com, 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 and we'll give you a walkthrough of everything that we go over. And we'll even do like a 45-minute strategy call with you, where we'll talk about some of the best things that we're doing over here that you're welcome to have absolutely for free. There's no cost to this. So profitdrivenplan.com, profitdrivenplan.com. When you go there, it's going to just ask you a couple of questions so we can best prepare for the call. And either Kevin or one of Kevin's partners, I know Kristen is one of our partners on that too, will walk you through and show you what we do over there, and give you a kind of a backstage pass. So you can see some of the things we're doing, and perhaps go ahead and start implementing some of those things in your business right now. So it'll ask you a couple of questions, help us prepare for a call, and then it'll take you to a calendar where you pick a time and day that works for you. Profitdrivenplan.com. Did we cover it, Kevin? Anything I should have asked you that I didn't ask you today?
I think we hit it pretty well.
I think so too. So simple idea that'll get you, man, this is a simple idea that'll get you a lot of mileage on. Kevin, you're awesome. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for your leadership. I've learned so much from you. And we'll see the rest of you. Well, we'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.